Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we are making a very traditional beef stroganoff. My wife was worried that I was going to turn it into Italian beef stroganoff, but I'm not. I'm making it. Shouldn't leave the pantry open though. Show all of our secrets. Beef stroganoff, very traditional dish. And what you're going to need for this, there are a couple of twists. I use a little white wine in this dish. My wife was also worried that I would omit the mushrooms, but we have plenty of mushrooms. Of course, you're going to need some sour cream because that's what gives it that wonderful tangy creaminess. I've got, instead of using like a yellow onion or a white onion, we're going to use chopped green onions, which I got there. I also add a little bit of brown mustard. And so I've already gotten started. I like to brown the beef off in a little bit of butter because it works better that way. And so let me bring you down to where we are. There you go. We've got our beef browning nicely. I'm going to turn down the heat just a little bit. I got this roast and cut it into strips. And I'm not going to take the beef out. Or maybe I will. And put it back in. I think that may be the way to go today. Let's do that. Hold on one second. This is going well so far. All right. I've got my beef browned a little bit. I'm going to remove that. Okay. Just want it to be essentially cooked through. I'm going to throw my noodles in the water in just a moment. As well. I've got those great egg noodles. All right. So we brown that off in a little bit of butter. We're going to take that off the heat. And we're going to leave all of that deliciousness in the pan. There we go. Okay. Leave your pan, leave the heat going. I'm going to put a little more butter in there. And set this aside. Now what we want to do, I got a little white wine. We're going to deglaze the pan with a little white wine. Turn up your heat. About a half a cup, something like that. Who's measuring? You guys measure? Sometimes I do. Hello there. Hi, Andrea. My wife's watching. She was not sure. I think she had to make sure I was making traditional beef stroganoff. Hello, Valerie. Nice to see you. Now, we're going to bring the temperature up on the white wine, and we're going to deglaze the pan, get all of that, all of the drippings from the beef. Melt that little pad of butter, just like that. And I want to reduce that just down a little bit by about maybe half. So we'll reduce that down. Let the white wine cook down just a little bit. I'm going to bring that up to a little bit more of a simmer. I'm keeping an eye on my water over here. Andrew's still not sure. Now, this is a very traditional beef stroganoff with just all the things you love. Mushrooms and some green onions, sour cream. It's going to be really delicious. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so we're reducing that white wine. And then we're going to start adding in our vegetables. In fact, all right, sweetheart, look. Mushrooms. Right in there as we're reducing. Look at all those mushrooms. Look at that. I just got the traditional white button mushrooms, sliced them up myself. And we're going to saute those in the butter and white wine as the white wine is reducing. Let them soften up just a little bit. Very nice. All right, so we've got that going. We've already browned off our beef. We're going to add that back at the end. A couple of different recipes I saw said just move the beef over to the side and continue cooking over on this part of the pan. And I didn't really like that approach. Poached mushrooms are not being poached. They're being bathed in white wine and butter, which is perfect. Hello, Sandra Curry. Nice to see you. Oh, my friend Danielle Kennedy is watching. Hello, Danielle. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I know that you were thrilled when the strike was finally over and you could get back to work. And Randy Florence is watching from right behind me. So he's going to get a little beef stroganoff for dinner. All right, so we've got the mushrooms softening up, not poached. My wife does not like Poached. We had a discussion about how best to cook scallops. Joshua, I just used just the white button mushrooms, but you can use any kind of mushrooms that you prefer. I used a top eye-round roast, Jan. Put my noodles in. All right, so we got the noodles in the hot water. The mushrooms are cooking beautifully. In the hot tub of wine and butter, which makes everything delicious. I've already put salt and pepper on the beef. I will add a little bit to the sauce as well as we go along. Now I'm going to add in, hello Joan Smith, nice to see you, my green onions. Get those in there. Look at that, that's great. Now, I'm going to get those split up a little bit. All right, so we've got the mushrooms and the green onions, a little white wine, and of course, we already sauteed the beef in this pan. So we're in good, every mushroom in the house is in this pan, Randy. There is no more.
Backyard.
All mushrooms are edible, some only once. Always remember that. All right, so I'm going to add a little more pepper to this dish. Like that, and that will scare Richard Herrig, who's, I'm sure, watching at home. He wasn't feeling particularly good today. So I hope you're feeling better, Richard. And I'm sure that the extra pepper will make you feel better. All right, stir in the noodles. We got this going. I'm going to turn the heat down. Now we're going to add a little beef broth. And someone, no homemade what? No homemade fresh pasta. No, Mike. It's that's a lot of work. Hi, Bob. Nice to see you. Diane is watching. All right, we're going to add a little beef broth. That looks good. I think that was also about a half a cup, give or take. I will put the full recipe and with actual measurements and stuff. I'll post it here on Facebook. So we're going to continue to reduce the wine and now the beef stock. Okay, that's got to be reduced down. I don't put garlic in my beef stroganoff. I prefer it without. Some people do. Hello, John Gordon. Haven't seen you in a long time. We need to get together for lunch. I got to watch these egg noodles because they cook very quickly, as you guys know. So while I'm reducing that, I've got about a tablespoon. Hi, Allison. How are you? I've got about a tablespoon of, this is Grey Poupon brown mustard that we're going to put in. So we got that in there. What happened to my, what did I do with my, oh, there it is. My tool. All right, we're going to stir that in. All right. That's just going to give it a little tang. Oh, this is already smelling fantastic. All right, so now we've got all that going. Hello, Mike. Mike Mogo's watching. And again, I will post this here as well, the full recipe, and I will also post it on my YouTube channel, Patrick Evans in the Kitchen. We were a little sporadic over the holidays, over November, December with cooking, but we're going to get back to doing it, hopefully, on a weekly basis. Now, the most important ingredient, other than the beef for the stroganoff, is, of course, the sour cream. So we're going to add that in. First, though, to thicken this up, I'm going to put just a little bit of flour in. So we're going to put some flour in this to help thicken up the sauce. Not a lot, just a little bit. Stir that in and get that fully incorporated. There we go. And that flour, it's a little lumpy now, but it will continue to incorporate in. It won't be a problem. Just stir it in nicely. Once you add the mustard to this, it really jumps out. It's a really nice, bold flavor that I think adds a great touch to this particular stroganoff recipe. Oh, my sister is watching, Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Happy New Year. She's watching from Charlottesville, Virginia, where I know the weather hasn't been so great there. All right, so now we've got our beef broth, our onions, our mushrooms, a little white wine, and a little brown mustard in there, okay? And just a little flour, a touch of flour to help thicken up this sauce. I'm going to cut back on my heat here. Okay, this is beginning to shape up beautifully. Now, sour cream is super important. So we're going to add in, this is a 16-ounce container, so I'm going to put in about 8 ounces. So just about a cup. I want to blend that in until it's nice and smooth and creamy. And if you want it a little less thick, you can omit the flour or add a little more beef broth as you go along if you want to do that. Look at that. That is looking fantastic. Keep the heat up under it a little bit. And so now all of that is beautifully incorporated. I know there was a great conversation about the picture that I posted, which was not the dish I'm making. I stole the picture off the internet. And my wife was discussing that there were no mushrooms in there. Hey, Bill Cinso, how are you? I did not see your wife over at Gelson's. Normally I do. But there were mushrooms in this recipe. I wouldn't omit them. Sometimes when I make beef stroganoff, I like to chop up the mushrooms until they're kind of fine and finely diced. But other people, what? You don't like that?
Oh. Who are you?
I'm the guy that's doing the cooking show.
Oh.
And who's going to feed you?
Oh, I love you, man.
Since your wife is out of town. All right, there we go. We've got our sour cream incorporated in there. And again, a little white wine, deglaze the pan with it after you brown your beef. And then you're going to add in the white wine and a little extra butter. Then you're going to add in your mushrooms and your onions. And I add a little mustard, a little beef broth. Simmer that down a good bit. Then you bring in your sour cream. And now we're ready to add the beef back in. So we're just going to slide that baby right back in there. Okay. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now this, you probably want to let this simmer for a little while. So I'm not going to serve it right away. What? I know it's
are we having appetizers?
There will be appetizers. You know, we don't allow drinking at our house after dinner. We don't eat until 3 a.m, but there's no drinking after dinner. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our beef stroganoff.
What? That's already in. That's already in.
The wine's already in. Yes.
Oh, good.
The one guy who's in the room actually didn't follow along. He didn't understand the. So we're going to let that simmer. I'm going to bring the heat down a little bit. And I'm going to let that simmer just to let the beef tender up a little bit. And then we will serve that over our noodles. I'll post a picture of the finished dish. And, you know, I love this because of the extra little dash of mustard. Hello, Susan Porter. Nice to see you. Camille, I believe you just had a birthday recently. Happy birthday to you. Camille watching from Roanoke, Virginia. My old stomping ground. I worked at the WDBJ for about 10 years. A number of East Coasters on tonight. All right, that is your beef stroganoff. And again, I will post the full recipe right here on my Facebook page. I'll post it with the rest of the video. And I will put a picture of the finished product so you can see what it looked like. And then it will be on my YouTube channel, In the Kitchen with Patrick Evans. So it's a really super easy dish to make. And of course, there are lots of different things. Joshua was asking about garlic. Some people like to put garlic in there, and you certainly can do that. I would add that right in as your deglaze in the pan. I omitted that. I don't put it in my beef stroganoff because I like that just the sour cream flavor. I prefer that. So I'm drinking a little red wine tonight. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for joining me here in the kitchen. And once again, you can check out this and any number of recipes on my YouTube channel. Hello, Lori Highland. Nice to see you. Mike, good to see you. Mike's also watching from Roanoke. So cheers, everyone. Ryan has chimed in. Hello, Sandra. You use ribeye? Yeah, a lot of people like that. Some people, a recipe I know. Ryan, the dinner's not for you. Some people actually use, just because it's so nice and tender, use a piece of filet and slice that up, which is always nice. But while I like Randy a great deal, I don't love Randy, so I'm not doing it that way. Wow, there you go. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me here in the kitchen. Hello, Mr. Herwig. There's Richard Herwig. There's pepper in this recipe, Richard. I hope you're feeling better. Richard and Tish were both not feeling great, so I hope you guys are feeling better. Jeffrey Tropple from Nothing But Cakes is watching, and that would be a spectacular dessert to have with this thing.
Yes.
So if you're out and about, Jeffrey, you know where I live. Oh, Richard missed it. He must have been sleeping through it. We'll start over. Yeah. Okay, so go get some beef. No. Thank you guys very much. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining me here in the kitchen. We'll be back with another tasty recipe next time. Jeffrey, hope you're doing great. We'll talk to you, and we'll see everybody here next week. Hello, Fred Wolf. Thanks for tuning in. And once again, look for the recipe here. Yes, Jeffrey, we need to get together. I'll bring some wine, you bring some butt cakes, and I think everybody will be happy. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Cheers. Salute.